thank you for tuning into this week's Pizza Social. I'm Haley.
And I'm Jolene.
And thanks for tuning in and listening to us in our weird shenanigans.
You made it.
Yay! This is episode 2, I think, or 3 or 4, or wherever we decide to put this because it's a podcast.
Yeah. This is episode whatever. Congratulations.
So again, we're in our janky hot box in the library. And we don't have pizza.
Still no pizza because they still only serve spaghetti. Also, when we took a trip to get more Dr. Pepper, they have hamburgers.
Yeah, what the hell? Hamburgers but no pizza?
Pizza is on the easy list to make and also the best thing in the world. You just order a pizza and mark up the slice value, and you know what? I'd pay it.
And it's not like you have to keep it warm.
No!
I would eat it cold gladly.
Yes, enthusiastically.
So, before we get started with anything, I think we need to have an intervention. And that would be regarding Jolene's pirate obsession. So, as you know by now, we host our podcast at a library. And we took a break not too long ago after brainstorming, and Jolene insisted we go to the pirate section. And right now I am looking at 6 books about pirates, including The Complete Idiot's Guide to Sunken Ships and Treasures, She Captains, Ghost Ship, Pirate Predators of the Sea. I think she has a problem.
I think that I'd like to point out that it's not a problem. I've liked pirates my whole life. They're fucking awesome. They're cool. They've got treasure and ships, and they can say things like scallywags and wear arm and eye patches and peg legs and plunder and pillage and take what they want and don't ask permission. I mean, so I can tell that you're so impressed with what I just said. That's the look she's giving me, everyone. So I went up to the reference desk because I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of logging into the library on my phone and getting call numbers. So I just went to the reference desk and I was like, hey, do you have a pirate section? And the guy at the desk, his face just dropped and he was just immediately judging me. And Haley was next to me also judging me. And
naturally.
It was just a judgment sandwich. But guess what? I got call numbers. So we went to them and what? He gave me the call numbers for sunken ships, which, congratulations, pretty close, but not what I asked for, bruh.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did some diving on my own on my phone and logged in and went through the hassle, and guess what? I found it.
I would like to point out, though, that I did find most of the books in your possession, which is stupid because I'm basically enabling you.
Okay, why are you such a pirate hater? I'd like to know this. Like, what have pirates ever done for you besides be amazing and hot and sexy?
They're smelly. And
you don't know that. You've never sniffed one.
But they live on ships with barnacles.
Okay.
Barnacles smell.
You don't know that. Have you sniffed one? Tell me the date. Give me pictures.
Next time we go down to the beach, we will find a fucking barnacle and we will smell that shit.
I'm just saying that you can't speak these things in confidence until you can give me the proof that you've actually done it.
You know what? I read it on the internet, so it must be true.
If you have that opinion, then life's gonna be really difficult. You got some surprises coming your way.
Apparently.
So I've always loved pirates, and I'm reading this really great book right now called Pirate Hunters by Robert Kurson. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but that's how I'm saying it today.
Arr.
Are you ready to talk about the next topic? Are you sure you don't want to?
I'm gonna make you walk the plank.
Alright, let's get our booty into gear and talk about things that happen as a writer. So Haley's a writer, I'm a writer, and if you're a writer, you know that sometimes you literally will do just about anything to not write.
And if you're not a writer, then let us tell you what it's like to be a writer.
You just don't want to write.
You don't want to write. You will basically sit down and be like, yeah, I'm gonna write 4,000 words today, and then 200 words and you're like, yeah, check your word count, and you're like, no.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I should really organize those cleaners under my sink.
Yeah.
That should be done.
I have so much laundry.
I'm gonna I think that cobweb that has been there since 2010 should really be cleaned out today, right away, right now.
Yeah, or, oh, I need to do this research, so I'm gonna look this thing up on YouTube, but I'm really just gonna watch product videos.
Pinterest.
It's never book research when it's Pinterest.
But Haley, what about my book inspiration boards?
Oh, God.
And I need to know what my character looks like, and I need to know what the place that the book is set looks like.
In between pinning outfits you want to wear, and things you want to cook, and places you want to visit.
Cute dogs. Got a witch board. Got a food board. Got a hot guys with animals board. Follow me on Pinterest. Hot guys with animals.
Pinterest, my friends, is where productivity goes to die.
Like, literally, I'll be like, I'm just going to be on here for 5 minutes to do some quick book planning. And then, like, 5 days later, you're like, oh my God, I've missed a week of work. I should probably call my work and explain to them what happened to me. Because they probably think I'm dead based on my Googling. So we made a little list of things that happen as a writer. So the first thing that we listed immediately, both of us, is you have creepy Google searches.
So creepy.
So creepy. Like, I'm pretty sure that if the government is spying on me, they have already labeled me a serial killer / body disposer / loose cannon.
Oh, yeah, me too. And there's often times where I Google something, and as I'm Googling it, I'm snickering under my breath because I know it's just, what have I become? Who am I? You don't even recognize yourself anymore. You're like, I am totally Googling how to dispose of bodies.
Yep.
This is happening.
And we've actually had this conversation.
Oh,
how
yeah.
would we dispose of a body and or kill someone? Last week at the dinner table, I was talking about this because I was writing a book about it. And when I got done with how I would do it, my roommates literally were at the table and they had their mouths open and they were like, that's really creepy. I didn't even get praise. They were just appalled.
You're welcome.
I was like, okay, well, so I guess not everyone's plan is as thought out as mine. It's the writer in me.
Slight sidebar. So, that movie Frozen, the Disney movie Frozen, every time I hear the song, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? It gets me all teary, but let's not get into that. So me and my mom came up with a parody version of it, and instead of saying, do you want to build a snowman, it's, will you help me hide a body? It doesn't have to be in one piece.
Oh my God.
So every time I Google something about, like, disposing of bodies, I immediately think of these cute little characters hiding a body in a trunk, terrible things. I'm a terrible person. Yep, definitely.
As long as everyone knows. So really, this intervention should be for you.
I like how that got turned around on me. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm pretty good at redirecting.
Other interesting things that I've Googled are, like, what things smell like. I won't say what things.
Come on, Haley, tell us.
Nope.
We want to know.
I've Googled what things smell like. Sometimes I'll Google how things sound. I'll listen to weird soundtracks on YouTube. I'm sure people walk past me and are like, what the hell is she doing? I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just, going with the flow.
So where I work now, like, they really monitor the internet, and sometimes some of the things that I Google, I'll search it and all of a sudden it pops up and it's like, this has been blocked for porn. Well, I'm like Googling, synonyms for hot. Like, so some of the things you, like, don't even think about Googling, and then you hit view and then you're like, oh my God, what have I done to myself?
Yeah, I Googled something the other day that, it was just a bunch of naked men. What did I type in?
Hot dogs?
No.
She's Googling something right now.
Damn it.
I'll let you know what happens on her screen.
Okay, wait.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this.
What else have you Googled that's very strange?
I Google a lot of weird stuff. Stuff you don't even think about if you're not a writer, like synonyms for said. Other ways to say blue or black. Other ways to say sky. There's only so many ways you can describe the sky or just... Oh, last week, I was literally Googling on my work computer, which is tracked, by the way. Other words for blood. How long does it take you to die once your throat is slit?
Plasma. Platelets.
So, plasma was one of them.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Good.
Well done.
Hell
You're
yeah.
basically Google. And, I do a lot of Googling define and then, typing a word, define word.
Oh, I do that too.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm using it right? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I was way off Samsonite.
Samsonite.
Yeah, way off.
But sometimes I'll do it to try to find synonyms or another way to say the word.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
by
yeah.
looking and reading the descriptions.
That's funny.
Disposing bodies, killing people.
My last project, actually, really funny. So I ended up Googling job postings for firefighters because I was trying to figure out what their shifts were. If they work weekend shifts, how many hours do they work? If they're in this position, how many days out of the week do they work? And if they do they ever work on Saturdays? Google reveals a lot of stuff to you. I also Googled, I was looking for articles about women falling off cliffs. Don't ask. And my most recent and probably most flagged post, I looked up where to find the FBI building in Los Angeles and how many floors it has. So,
Creeper.
if this podcast suddenly ceases,
Haley's been arrested.
they found me.
They found her out. I do a lot of Googling too, watching videos of people do things. As a writer, sometimes you want to describe how something's happening, but for me at least, it's easiest to do it if I'm watching it happen.
Have you ever heard of ASMR? So there's a whole, oh god, I'm gonna make you fall down a rabbit hole. I'm so sorry. There's a whole series of videos on YouTube called ASMR videos, and they're just mundane tasks. People ironing shirts, or folding, or tapping their nails, or I don't know, just weird things, but they elicit this tingling sensation in your scalp, which helps relax you and helps you fall asleep.
What the fuck?
I know. You'll have to check later and report back on this, but
that was the day I stopped writing because I watched people ironing all day.
Okay,
Thanks.
so if you've ever Bob Ross, the painter Bob Ross, he kind of
Oh my god, I love Bob Ross.
because his voice is so real, and he's just a happy dude. Like you just want to hug him and fluff his afro and hold his squirrel. Not that squirrel.
He's like, you didn't make a mistake. Now your mistake is a bush
It's
and
a
a tree.
It's a happy
It's
little
a bird,
tree.
and you're like, yeah, I didn't fucking make a mistake. I made a bush.
Woo!
Yeah, power to the bushes. I also did Google while I was at work, and I came back as flagged, blocked for porn. And I was like, ooh, didn't think that one through. Was things that turn people on. I was looking for obscure random things for like book research because I was watching an episodes of Bob's Burgers.
Oh god.
And in that episode, he finds out that Linda's parents have gone to like a swingers retirement place because the people are so lively there, and they are about to get kicked out because the grandpa can't perform. And it turns out that his turn on, he's only got one, and it's popping a balloon. And it turns him on. And it turns out it's actually a real thing.
What?
Yeah, no, it is. And that made me think, like, what else, like, really gets people going that's, like, super weird, like popping a balloon.
Dead bodies.
It was a rabbit hole, but I couldn't do the rabbit hole at work because I was blocked for porn. Which I wasn't looking it up, for the record. But I guess I was, so...
I'm trying to think of, like, random things that would turn people on.
Well, if you got a balloon, I'll show you one of them.
Ew, God.
So what else do you do to not write? Because I think that's another big one. So you'll do anything literally to not write.
I started a business. That was my biggest thing. So here's some backstory on me. I used to work a soul-sucking corporate job, that sadly Jolene is still at.
Thanks for leaving me.
Love you. Well, I got let go, and we happened to be in a financial situation where I didn't have to go back to work immediately, and God bless my saint-like husband. He told me to stay home and write. So, I was really excited about this prospect. I was like, yeah, I'm going to bang out a novel in a couple months. I'm going to be Pulitzer winning.
Sleeping on your coins and your money.
Yeah, like Duck McScrooge.
Like Duck McWhatever.
Yeah, I totally was, ideas of grandeur. Which ended up with me Googling random shit and doing laundry and being on Pinterest. And my biggest procrastination was like, oh, hey, I want to make some money, so I'm going to start an Etsy business, which...
So what's the name of it if people want to come buy your shot?
Well, the new one. So I closed my other one down because I was like, damn it, I need to write more. And I opened it up because we're trying to buy a house. So it's called Max and Mitch Co. Not a shameless plug, but I do sell some pretty sweet coffee mugs.
She sells amazing. In fact, there's one in my hand right now. It says you have a pizza, my heart, but it's a piece of my heart because I'm a pizza freak. And
Which
it's
is
pretty
why
fantastic.
we
She's
named this
really
podcast.
good. She's really good. Check it out.
Anywho, that was my biggest procrastination. I started a business, which ended up taking up so much time that I was like, oh, I just don't have time to write. Oh.
By the way, we're going to put the link to your store in the show notes just so everyone hearing this
Jolene is always
knows.
so supportive.
God, I'm so supportive.
I love it.
Playlists.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need 50 songs on your fucking playlist to be able to write, but you know what? Some days I tell myself I do.
It's actually funny because, so I totally harassed you for having a mood board for Pinterest. But I can't really say anything because I make playlists of, like, music that makes me feel a certain way. So I basically, I'm admitting I'm really creepy. I have a sex playlist.
Yeah.
So I have a whole playlist of music that just kind of like, not like Marvin Gaye, like, let's get it on. Not that kind of music. It's like,
Hot, fiery.
it's just kind of, yeah, like music that's, makes you tingle a little.
Did I ruin it for you? You were going to have the big reveal of what it made you feel like, and I jumped in.
No. You're good.
So, true story, Haley used to send me these occasionally during the workday. She'd be like, check out this hot sex song. And then I'd be like, I'm like fucking invoicing shit, like the most boring job in the world. And I'm like, okay. Like, it's not even weird. It's just like,
Don't have to tell me twice.
hell yeah. Then we'd listen to it, and then we would talk about it. Like, yeah, that's like hot hate sex song.
Or every now and then I would send her a song and she'd be like, this song is so sad. Why do you think this is a sex song? And I'm like, I don't know. There's just something about it that's sexy.
It's a great sex song if you want to cry the whole time. you like to cry while you bang. We got some good ones for you.
Oh, it's okay. No, I'm almost there.
That's what Haley sounds like when she's having sex to Band of Horses.
All right, we're gonna switch topics. Can we just sidebar and talk about what you normally lust after? What do I always tell you lust after? Jolene has a very specific type, and every time I find pictures of this said type, I always send them to her. And it's normally, no offense if you're this type of guy, skinny dudes with lots of tattoos, like emo, kind of shaggy in-the-face hair and lots of piercings that are normally in, like, screamy bands like Sleeping with Sirens or, I don't know, something else. So I basically tell her that she likes tattooed lesbians.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I don't like my men pretty. I like them rugged. Like, yeah, like I don't normally find myself attracted to really clean shaven or like pretty boys.
She likes them really pale, actually.
That's not even true. I just like them really tatted and really like
feminine.
According to Haley, I like them basically with vaginas.
She would send me pictures when we worked together of just like random pictures of guys and be like, oh, this guy's so hot. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I went to school with a chick that looked like that.
This is a true story. Every time she'd ever send, like, I'm pretty sure she gave up sending me pictures of hot guys that she thought was hot.
Never her type.
Because she sent me a picture and I was like, that is disgusting. Like, I don't like.
Like, is he disgusting because he looks like a man? Like, are you trying to tell me something?
If he doesn't have a vagina, I don't want to see him. Or date him, okay?
Back to your topic. Lusting after people for characters.
Well, I think normal people see people and passing and just like, okay, it's a person. I see a person and I'm like, I wonder what he does. I wonder where he was born. I wonder what she does. I wonder what she likes to do. I wonder who she kissed. I wonder where she grew up. I will straight up creep, imaginate. Is that a word? Can I coin that? Imaginate what this person's life is like because I want to know. Like, the writer in me wants to know their whole history and where it's going. But it just varies. It's guys and girls. It doesn't discriminate. Old, young, it doesn't matter.
I think that this ties into a lot of the times why we get stuck in conversations we don't want to be in because of this curiosity, we engage in really level 5 active listening to where, like, someone's telling us something and we're thinking in our head, I don't want to be in this conversation, but active listening kicks in. We're like, oh yeah? And then what happened? Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me about this thing. And we're like, why am I saying this out loud? Stop telling me stuff.
Tell me about that bush that you pruned 2 weeks ago on a Sunday morning when the sun was shining and it was slightly windy.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't find myself really lusting after people that I want for characters.
All the time. Or like unique faces. I'm not even an artist. I can't even draw a stick figure, but sometimes I'll see a face. Usually it's like an interesting face, and I'm just like, I just want to draw it. It reminds me of, what's the Titanic? Jamie, like one of your French kills. I just want to, I don't know. I just think people are so fascinating. People are also fucking creeps, but people are really fascinating.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like the older that I get, the more I realize my ideal of what a normal life is, or how the general society lives a normal life, is very skewed. I used to think when I was younger, like, oh, you would hear someone's parents getting divorced, oh, you would find out someone was murdered, or stuff that when you're young is, oh my god, it's so tragic. But as you get older, like infidelity, divorce, murder, shady shit is actually really common. Everyone has skeletons.
Yeah, I feel like you just start to like, you've seen a lot of shit, nothing surprises you.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, oh yeah, that person's murdered 45 people. Okay. I had a coffee today. What else is fact?
Yeah, go on.
It's sad though. Like, it's sad that our hearts are slightly black, but I guess that's life.
I'm like, oh, a Kardashian took another nude selfie? Tell me how empowered I am. Please.
Let's talk about someone working hard on a podcast.
Oh my god.
And the other person is Googling bullshit.
I was trying to find that thing that I Googled that brought up a bunch of half-naked men. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. Did you Google half-naked men? Because that would do it.
It was definitely not that. It was something more inconspicuous.
Well, if you don't remember, it could have been that.
I don't...
I'm right. So, another one that we were talking about that happens if you're a writer is weird thoughts that if anyone heard, they would judge you.
Oh,
Probably
God,
incarcerate you or, just disown you.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes in my head it sounds like a sex scene. Like, yes, yes, yes. But I'm looking at my words. Other times it's like, no, 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 hell no. Why? Why is this so bad? It's so good. It's so bad. It's so good.
I think that's a creative process in general. One minute you're like, oh, it's awesome. And the next minute you're like, this is absolute shit.
This is shit.
And then the next you're like, it's okay. And you're like, I'm just going to keep it because I already spent 5 hours writing 200 words. I have to show something for today.
Another thing that happens if you're a writer is getting turned on by your own sex scenes. How does that ever happen? So I write smut. I like smut. I like to read smut. I like to write smut. I don't really have anything published officially that's smut, but I think it's hilarious. Like, I used to take it as a joke, and I still don't really take it very seriously, but I used to not want to talk about it ever because I thought I would be judged really hard. And that's still true, but I just don't care.
It's funny that you say that because I used to work for an Elks Lodge, and the women's lavatory had like a sitting area. So there was couches and there was a bookshelf, and the bookshelf had a ton of romance novels. And my boyfriend at the time was like, hey, do you want to see something cool? And I'm like, okay. And he pulls a book off the shelf and he puts it down, spine down onto the table, and it falls open to like the dirtiest part of the book. And he goes, you could pick any one of these books and it's going to fall open to the dirtiest part. And I'm like, are you serious? So we sat there for like a good 15 minutes just plucking books off the shelf and letting them fall open. And sure enough, it'd be like, his hand swept up the creamy inside of my thigh and he buried his man piping inside my socket wrench. I don't know. This sounds like I've never had sex.
Haley doesn't know what sex is, so please nobody tell her. We'd like to keep her pure.
Anyway.
But I mean, okay, so if you ever written something that you don't think is utter trash at some point and you go back to it, it's pretty satisfying to read a sex scene that at the end you think,
oh yeah.
All right.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That sounds nice.
I can do this.
Well, and then I find myself comparing, like, I'll read, like, one sex scene in a book, and then I'll compare it to another, and it'll just be like, What? What did I just read?
Some
Like,
of it's weird.
what about that was sexy? I'm really confused by this. There's so many books I really want to talk about, but I also don't want someone to call us up and be like, hey, defamation of my novel, because another thing about writers is they can get pretty touchy about their works. Like, I'm kind of defensive about my work, but I'm objective enough to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not amazing, and I could probably improve in some areas, but if you've ever gone on Goodreads, oh my god, especially indie authors, some of them get so hostile when they get bad reviews. Oh my god. And there's
Really quick, we're not hating on indie authors.
no,
I
no, no,
am
no,
one,
no, no.
but we're just talking
Indie
generalities.
indie authors don't have a PR manager telling them that they can't say that shit on Goodreads. Let me
No
put it
one
that
is
way.
saying no puppy.
No puppy. So there was one, I won't name who she is or what book, but she wrote a romance novel that, in my opinion, is, I'm sorry, it's just terrible. Like, just reading the synopsis and the plot, I was like, this doesn't happen. Like, it's not even kind of real. And
But it happened in her book.
that's like saying it happened in Narnia, so it must be real.
Well,
For
the
real.
logic fits.
Really? Anyway, the book is terrible, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe the sex scenes will be redeeming. No. Not even kind of redeeming. Not even a little bit. I was just like, why am I reading this? But at the same time, I was already like halfway in, so you're like begrudgingly committed to the story, and you're like, I have to finish this.
Like, sometimes you just don't know why you're reading, but you just keep going to know what happens, but you're, like, questioning your life while you do it.
You're hoping that it goes a different way, and then when it goes the way that you expect, you're like, ah!
Like, if you already have put in enough of your life to get through half the book, you're like, fuck it, I might as well just finish.
I would also like to say that if someday I write a book like that, and you find yourself in this awkward situation where you kind of want to shoot me a little bit, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It sounded good in my head, so I'm sorry.
I get it. I mean, I have written several novels. One of them is published now. 2 more are coming out this year. And I get, like, pouring your heart and your soul into this stuff and money and whatever. Like, I get it. It's easy to be defensive because you put so much of your time and money and your whole heart into that. But at the same time, like, I don't know. At least for me, I feel like maybe I've just been around the block enough where it's like, I'm objective. I'm not the best writer in the world. I'm not the, best editor in the world. But I just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to read it.
Right.
Put it away. Rip the pages and kindle your fire with it.
Let's be honest, you probably torrented it anyway, so are you out any money? Like,
wah, 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 wah.
I had a piece that I wrote under a pen name one time that I found out was getting torrented, and I actually felt pretty pleased with myself. I was like, that's how you know that you have a good piece of fiction, is that it's so good that people are trying to, actually, I'm making this sound really bad.
Well, no, I mean, I get, so I found a similar thing. I found something that I wrote being pirated, more than one thing. But the funny part was, it was a book that wasn't even out yet.
What?
So nobody had it, and I'm sure it wasn't my manuscript because I have never shared it. I hadn't even written it completely yet.
Yeah.
I didn't click on the link, and I'm like, that's gotta be a virus or like something, but it's not my book.
Interesting.
It was very
it's
strange.
It's like someone found it on Goodreads and was like, I'm going to make this virus file.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's on Goodreads, which it must have been where they got it because that's where we had posted it. But the actual document has never been ever been put out anywhere. No one has ever touched it.
Shady.
It's so weird. I was like I'm oddly intrigued.
Yeah.
But this is literally not a thing.
But I don't want to have to reload my operating system because I clicked on it.
But I don't want a virus, so
oh
yeah.
My gosh. What other weird stuff?
If you're a writer, you have probably either, like me, had shower epiphanies. I get them occasionally. Where all of a sudden you have the best idea in the world, and if you don't jump your sweet ass out of the shower at that moment, by the time you are done rinsing your hair, it is gone. Gone forever, and it is your fault.
I feel like, I don't remember if it was when I was living with you, but didn't we at one point Google, paper you could take in the shower?
Yeah.
I think we did.
It's real,
it's
by the
real,
way.
It exists.
And pens.
It's like rain something. I'll have to look it up and put it in the description, but you can definitely purchase it, so that way when you have those sweet ass shower epiphanies, you can write them down.
Yep.
So we still need to get it. Damn it.
What about you? You have dream. I don't really dream a lot. Occasionally I do.
Oh man.
But you do, right?
I have some vivid dreams. I actually had one. I'm going to eventually write a book about this. And I feel like I should have been terrified by it, and I kind of was a little terrified. But I had this dream that I was at the church that I grew up in when I was younger, and I was looking down from like our balcony or something, and I heard gunshots. Like, first red flag, oh hey, maybe I should not be having this dream right now, but I was so deep in it that I really thought I was at my church. So I'm getting pulled into this room, and like they barricade the door behind us, and I hear people running and screaming and trying to get into the room. And so like I try to open the door a little bit, and this beast thing like bites my wrist and infects me with some kind of like zombie like virus. And then it cuts to another frame. I'm spitting all over the place because I'm really passionate about this.
It's fine.
It cuts to the next frame, and like they've totally changed my appearance, and they're walking me into this camp where we're seeking shelter, and this guy scans me, and he like lifts up my wrist, and he notices that I've been bit, but instead of reporting me, he just puts like a metal cuff around my hand and is like, please come in. And I'm like, I'm so gonna have sex with that man. And then I woke up and I was like, what the hell? Then like a week later, I had the next chapter of that dream, and I'm like, I need to start writing this down. This is just getting
God.
weird.
I wish books came to me like that.
That's the only one that ever has. That should be like a divine intervention sign that I need to write it. But
Basically, Jesus is like, yo,
yo,
write this shit down.
here's this book idea. Thank me later.
You don't even have to give me credit.
It's cool. Just do your thing.
So now that we have talked about some of the strange things that maybe you will get or not get, things that happen to you as a writer, we'd love to hear what has happened to you as a writer. If you have something to plug in or tell us about, please, please, please add us at Pizza Social Pod on Twitter, or email us, or you can leave a comment on our show and tell us what strange things you do as a writer.
And if you're not a writer, just let us know what kind of weird encounters you've had. Like, I don't know if we touched on the Bevmo encounters, but I feel like every time I go into a Bevmo, someone tells me their life story. And if I'm not alone in this, please tell me I'm not alone in this. We would like to hear about it.
I'd like to think that Haley is the only one that tends to get ditched constantly in Bevmos, but...
Sad, sad days. Alright, guys, we're signing off. Be safe.
Make good choices.
Don't forget who you are.